Inflation is the real danger, according to Bloomberg guest op-ed contributor Andy Xie, who is joining us this morning over the phone from Hong Kong. And Xie says that the government stimulus programs in the West, meaning here in the U.S., can lead to inflation in the emerging nations that are red hot right now. And that is only going to come back to bite us in the butt, basically. Xie is the former chief economist from Morgan Stanley. Andy, good to talk with you after all these years. But OK, so first up, though, have I got it right? Is that essentially what you're saying about the inflation scenario?
Yeah, I think so. I think that we have now one global economy. It's a global village. And when one central bank releases money, it lands somewhere and it becomes inflation. Right now, it's just inflation is happening in emerging economies when the Fed prints money. Mm-hmm. But when the emerging economies' inflation gets high enough, it will bounce back. It will become the inflation in the U.S. So it's not like printing money it doesn't have consequences. It's just there's a lag.
But I've got two questions out of that, though, Andy. Why wouldn't you count in, though, the ability of these governments in China, in Russia, or where else to be able to manage their own inflation targets?
Well, it's very difficult because an important constraint is these countries are trying to hold down their currencies because they think that the global demand is relatively weak, and therefore you should keep your exports competitive. And that force is causing them to allow all the money to come in to become inflation.
Okay, but then so even given that, though, Andy, just even suppose that we are going to be importing more higher priced products, and that's going to stoke inflation here. What about high unemployment? We're talking about high unemployment for maybe years to come.
Yeah, I mean,
that's going to keep prices down.
Yeah, look at Europe. It has had high unemployment for a long time. Doesn't mean that there is no inflation. I think that because the ultimate labor will demand a wage increase if they see inflation, right? Because they need to protect their living standard, their real wage. So I don't think that high unemployment is a panacea for keeping inflation down.
Okay, all right, Andy. Well, I guess only time will tell whether or not your argument is correct or not with the deflation-inflation scenario. But, Andy, great to talk with you, Andy Xie.